Today we're going to be taking a look at a PlayStation 5, specifically the optical drive and the disk drive portion. We'll also go over common issues and precautions that you need to take during the process. First, let's unplug the power cable and the HDMI cable. And let's remove the cover. With a sturdy tug in the upward direction while putting pressure on the bottom, we'll be able to pop it up and off. These little clips slide in and clip it down, so it's really easy to remove and reinstall. Let's continue with the disassembly by popping out the plastic support here. With a gentle tug, this will pop right out. And it's really easy to install when the time comes. Let's take out the metal expansion cover with its Phillips screw. And we'll disconnect the optical drive power cable by gently pulling it up, feeding it through, and giving it a nice solid tug. Let's do the same with the fan cable. And let's remove all of the screws that surround the perimeter of the plastic frame. It's crucial that we keep these organized, as some of them are different, and if we put them back in the wrong spot, we might damage the motherboard. Sometimes the assistance of tweezers helps remove the screws. Let's take off the 4 screws that cover up the fan guard. These 4 are different as well, so make sure you keep track of them throughout the process. Now that those 4 screws are out, we can pop off the fan guard. And we can pop out the fan unit itself. And then with a gentle tug, the plastic frame should pop up. And just like that, it comes off. Now let's detach the optical drive. We'll push down on the little metal bracket and pull out the flex cable. Then we can remove the optical drive. Now here comes the fun part. Let's unscrew the optical drive mounting screws. They're little Phillips screws that surround the perimeter. They're really hard to miss as they are black. Once all of those are removed, we'll move to removing the platform screws on the top. There's a connecting sticker on the side that we need to cut, and then we can pop off the case. Let's unplug the tray sensor control cable and disconnect the tray power cable as well. And let's remove the laser rail communication cable. We'll unscrew the optical drive on the main board. And then we'll remove it carefully flip up the flap and disconnect the cable. The optical drive board is encrypted with the PS5 motherboard, so you must transplant the original drive to a new drive, otherwise it won't be recognized or read disks. Let's proceed by dismantling the mechanism and examine the internal structure. Let's remove the tray wheel guide bracket. And remove the surrounding screws. Now let's unscrew the laser mechanism mounting screws. And anytime you're working with the laser, you really want to make sure you don't touch the lens. We'll disconnect the laser track communication cable. And finally, let's remove the communication cable between the mechanism and the laser. Let's take out the disk mechanism. Flip up the flap and slide out the flex cable. And set the old mechanism aside. Let's install a new one. Let's make sure nothing has touched or scratched the laser lens. Any damage can cause reading errors or disks not to be read at all. Let's reconnect the laser to the main board using the communication cable. By sliding it in and flipping down the flap. We need to ensure that the pins are aligned properly. Incorrect connections can cause disk reading failure or even damage to the motherboard. Make sure it slides nicely. Let's ensure that the pins are aligned properly, because otherwise incorrect connections can cause disk reading errors and damage the board. So let's brush the rollers, making sure that they are free of any debris, and make sure that they roll nice and smooth. Let's mount the mechanism into the tray guide bracket and reconnect the scanning rail flex cable to make sure that it's properly seated. Faulty installation can lead to unreadable disks or corrupt game data. Now let's screw the mechanism back into place. There are 4 screws. 3 of them are on these blue rubber sections. And 1 down here inside the plastic area. Let's reinstall the tray guide and ensure that everything lines up properly. Forcing it can break it and cause issues that will make it so that you have to replace this component as well. Before tightening, let's check that the tray is opening and it's level. If it's misaligned, the tray may not eject properly. which would be an obvious issue. Once everything is aligned, let's secure the screws. And let's reconnect the laser and encrypted board flex cable. Improper connection can result in the laser failure or the disk not spinning at all. Let's install the drive board and the mechanism back into the metal bracket. Make sure you flip the board in the correct orientation, and that none of the cables get pinched below it. Let's tighten all of the screws, securing the disk drive main board. Let's install the movement rail drive cable and the communication cable. If this cable isn't connected properly, it can cause laser failures and disk failures to read. Let's connect the tray power cable and make sure it's properly seated. Lastly, let's reconnect the tray sensor interface cable. On the top here, you can see we've got these 4 holes where the top screws are going to go for the bracket. Let's reattach the top support bracket of the optical drive. Making sure everything's aligned, and then we can tighten the screws. You want these to be nice and snug but not over tightened. And then we'll install the surrounding screws to hold down the case together. We want this unit to remain dust free, so let's ensure that we tighten every screw properly and we don't leave any gaps. These machines can get fairly dusty on the inside over time, and if any dust gets in there, it can impede the laser and disks won't read properly. You can scratch disks and other negative things can happen. Let's reinstall the disk drive into the console, making sure that we align it up with the screw holes. And then we can, with some tweezers, gently push down on the metal bracket and slide in the cable. Forcing this cable in the other way without pushing down the bracket could potentially cause issues with the flex cable, although I haven't had too many issues if I just gently push it in. We'll put back the plastic bracket and install all of the screws. Making sure we keep them in order, not mixing them up. There are triangles around the perimeter kind of telling you which ones to put where. Some are solid, some are kind of like hollow. And if you're careful, you'll be able to identify which ones those are and which screws go there. And you'll have to just remember where the long screws go. The fine thread ones go. Like this one right here, it's a fine thread one. And the big long corner screw one with this little short silver one going right here. Now we'll put back the fan and reconnect the cable once we align it, making sure we feed the cable under the little arch, making sure it's firmly seated, and we'll slide those flicks under. Let's install the fan guard along with its 4 screws. These 2 here are the fine thread ones. And finally the short black one. Let's install the expansion metal bracket. with its Phillips screw. Now we can take the plastic support and slide in each side onto the plastic frame, and then with the firm press down, it will click in, just like that. Let's reconnect the power cable for the optical drive. And we'll feed it through the channel. We definitely don't want it to get pinched in anything, so we're going to make sure that it goes nicely under the little arches as well. And if you had the stickers to cover up these flex cables and security screw, you can put them back. Otherwise, let's finally attach the rear panel by pushing up on it and clicking it into place. Now we can plug in the HDMI and power cables to start the test and make sure the disk drive properly functions. If any of the steps that were shown were skipped or missed, you could potentially have issues. So let's turn on the PS5. It's always a good sign to see the logo. Let's let it boot, and let's insert a disk. You can see that the disk pulls itself in, which means that we have connected at least something properly. We're going to watch for the disk spinning icon at the top of the screen. This means the laser is working. And shortly after, we can see that the game content begins to load and that the data is being read. Let's eject the disk and confirm that the drive is fully functional. In doing so, and if it pops out, we know that we have successfully repaired the disk drive on a PlayStation 5. Thanks a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next video.